Hey guys, and welcome to my very first makeup video. I am going to go over a day look today. And if you see, my skin has a little redness to it. I just had microchanneling done yesterday. Well, you can ask me about that if you want to, but that helps with collagen production, and it infuses moisture into the skin, all kind of great things, and it's minimal downtime. It usually takes about a day for my skin to recover from that. But today we're going to do just a tinted moisturizer look, really light on the makeup, and I'm going to go from how I prep all the way through. So what I'm going to start with is vitamin C, and there's a couple different brands. I'm trying this new one called Typology, but what I've used in the past, Tatcha, love me some Tatcha, but I wanted to give a new one a try. But we're going to go ahead and start with putting that vitamin C on my skin. I'm just going to rub that in. And I am not an expert makeup person. I've just learned a lot from the makeup artists that I used to watch when I was in photography. I used to watch those girls make people's faces up and just do a fabulous job. Shout out to Annabelle and Faith. Both of you are just awesome makeup artists. I learned a lot from those two ladies. Okay, so I've got that vitamin C sinking in the skin. We want to give that a chance to get soaked up before we put anything else on there. Let's see, then what do I do next? I am going to put a little bit of eyeshadow on today, so we're going to do that first. And the reason I do that first is so that the eyeshadow that may fall under my eyes gets caught on these little eye patches. And I get these little eye patches from Amazon. I'll show you it in a minute if I can get it unstuck from each other. We're going to slap one of those on. So while I'm doing my eye makeup, this helps with puffiness and circles and softening those fine lines. There's that. Doesn't that look cute? All right, let me show you what I'm using. I've got several different brands of these. I do pop them in the fridge to keep them cold. Get these off Amazon. They're not super expensive. I have seen some super expensive brands, but I just use this. Helps a little. I'm not saying it's gonna like be a magic worker, but it does feel good too. It feels real good. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with some light eye makeup. I'm gonna use a wide puffy brush and go with just a light color. This is one of my favorite palettes. I've been using it for quite some time. Morphe. And it is called Constellation Sky. But it's got a whole lot of pretty colors. Some shimmer, some matte. I like to have that option. So I'm just gonna go over the whole lid with the light cream just to lighten that darkness that I have going on my 52-year-old eyelids. So see, that lightens me up already. Let's see, I'm gonna keep it light today. I'm wearing black. If you hear a little grunting, it's my Boston Terrier Gizmo coming in here to check out who I'm talking to. I decided since I'm wearing black, I'm gonna go ahead and do a light smoky eye today. I'm gonna use this palette, and this is by Morphe as well. It's called Matte Essentials. And what I like to do when I'm doing a smoky eye, to make it super easy, I'm gonna go with a brush that looks kind of like that. So it's shorter and stubby and allow me to get into the crease of the eye. And I'm just gonna take this medium gray right here. Oops, that one. I'll get better at this as we go along. But that medium gray, and we're just gonna go in the corner and make a V there. And I'm blowing off excess, but just a little V right there. And then I'm gonna take a fluffier brush and lightly tap in that and blow it off. We're gonna blend. So I'm gonna blend towards the crease and then up and then on the lid. And then I'm gonna accent that a little bit deeper there. Same color. And then blend it out and in and up. So then it has a little bit softer, and go ahead and blend this side. I'm also blending out and up. Tapping a little more color, going in more into the crease, blending up and out. Just using what was on the brush and adding a little bit more in there, and then coming back in and blending. My eyes are kind of, they're hooded, so they close up, and I don't have like a really predominant high brow, so I have to fake it till you make it. So that's now blended a little better, and then I'm just going to take a little pop of this lighter color and put that on the lid. Let me find the right brush to do that with. This may not be exactly what a makeup artist would use, but that's the brush I'm going to use. And I'm going to go in with, we're going to see how this one looks, this lighter color. So it really pops it, and I'm not leaving it like that, so don't freak out. But we're going to take that blending brush again and brush out and up. And basically that's all I'm gonna do. I might come back and do a little pop in the middle after I take these eye patches off. So I'm gonna keep that out. But that's looking about where I want it. I'm gonna go ahead and take my, we're doing falsy eyelashes today because I do have to have an appointment later, and it's actually a court date for the dog that bit me. So we're going to court today to see what happens. My eyelashes that I love are called the Pixie by Kiss, So Wispy, and I trim these off, trim the first few little lashes off from the edge just to fit my eye. So you want to do that, get a fit on your eye before you fit them. But I go ahead and I put the glue on the lash, just like that. I'm getting it right on the edge. I'm gonna let that get just a little tacky, and I take a tweezer, moving mirrors around here. Have to get my magnifying mirror to do this. And we are going to, I come at it at an angle upward and set it on top of the lash. And I will say this does take a little bit of practice, ladies. They don't always go on exactly where you want, and sometimes you have to start over, but that's where I want it. Take the end of my tweezer and I'm pushing down the lash onto my lash line, as I want it to sit right on the lashes, the lash line, and attach to the skin, not my lashes. And we're gonna liner over that in a minute so that we don't see that fake eyelash. And I'm gonna go ahead and do the other side. Again, gluing that, getting that glue on. This is the hard part. After this, we're really going to start cranking through putting this makeup on, right? And if you have eyelashes, you can always just put your mascara on. All right, I'm going to go at an angle again. Let's see. It helps if you make faces with your mouth. Okay, so make sure that is stuck on. Okay, so there we go. That's they look, and I'm gonna let them dry a little bit. But while those are drying, we're gonna go ahead and get foundation on. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull those off and chunk them. I think it got a little brighter. All right, it's definitely less puffy. So let's see, next, what do I do? I put on moisturizer. So my moisturizer is Tatcha Dewy. So I love the dewy look. use a little scoop and put a dab all around. And we're going to rub that in. I've got something else I use for under eye. I'm going to show you what I do with that here in a minute. For tinted moisturizer stuff. What I'm using today is going to be the Typology, and it is tinted concealer and tinted moisturizer. I'm using that today instead of my MAC foundation because I had the microchanneling done yesterday and we want to give the skin a break and not fill my pores up while they're exposed with heavy makeup. So we just want something that's gonna moisturize today. All right, now that that's there, I do this. I go ahead and put my MAC Prep and Prime on. I normally use this for any time I'm putting any kind of makeup on. It just helps with the smoothness. So there's that. And then we're going to go ahead and get the tinted moisturizer on before we address the under eye area. I've started doing this just because I like how it blends a little bit better. I'm still trying to get the hang of this little dropper there. So I'm just using my hands today because this is a moisturizer and it's really thin and I want to make sure we get good coverage. Just make sure your fingers are clean, of course, before you go rubbing all over your face. We're going to drop some more. If I can get the dropper to work. It is not wanting to suck up. Well, here. This is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to dab it on my fingers. And this has really good coverage for a tinted moisturizer. Normally when I rub a tinted moisturizer in, you can see right through it, which it's okay if you've got good skin going on and don't have discoloration. But a lot of us, especially at this age, have quite a bit of uneven pigmentation going on. See how that's already evening out my skin tone, and it's very light and it has good coverage. I'm really liking it. And this color is the T10 Typology Tinted Serum. All right, let's get this under eyes going. So I'm using today Kapari. And this is, get my glasses. This is niacinamide and caffeine eye bright cream. So that is what I'm using, along with Typology T22 concealer. That just shot out. That was funny. I wish I could have got that on video. I'm gonna put a couple of dots of that cream, the Kapari cream there, and then we're going to put the concealer there too. So I'm combining the two so that it's not as heavy a coverage and doesn't really accentuate those creases. We don't want that. I'm going to first rub in with my finger. Got quite a bit on there, more than I normally would put. Got a little happy. Okay, so that happens. Take my little wedge and dab it so that I get some of that product up off of my skin. But look how good that blends. So when we do that, we want to go in a little triangle here. And again, I'm not going for a really heavy makeup look. I'm trying to keep it light today because of the procedure that I had. So we're just trying to look presentable in court today. Just kind of dabbing, making sure everything is good coverage. All right, there we go. Got the foundation going. All right, how about some eyebrows? My eyebrow of choice lately, got a little skin cream on my glasses here, is Pure Brow by Jane Iredale. I get this at Beauty Bliss, and this is Auburn, this color. But they have a whole bunch of colors at Beauty Bliss, and also they have ladies there to help you pick your color. They also have a really good tinted moisturizer there too that I use a lot. I didn't use it today because I wanted to try out that typology and see how it went. But really love this pencil. I go in and Beauty Bliss also, I get a facial once a month, and she shapes my eyebrows and waxes them. So I have a really good foundation there of shape to follow, so I don't have to guess where my eyebrows shall be. I really like to make sure I fill out here because that's where they're thinnest. But basically all I'm doing is taking short strokes and filling in my eyebrow. A little pointy on that side. Right. So then I'm going to take the little brushy and blend that through. That's it. Eyebrows done. Not doing a whole, we're not trying to highlight and do anything cray cray here. Okay, now let's give myself a little bit of summer glow. This is what I use when, and I don't know if this one's available anymore because honestly it's a little old. This is by Tarte, and it's called Tarteist Pro Glow and Blush. Jesus. And excuse the mess, but that's what it looks like, and you can see I really prefer that bronzing powder there. So that's what I'm going to do first, is take that bronzer, and I've got just a contouring brush here. It's got a small end here and a large end here. I'm going to take that large end and we're going to get that brush full, and I'm just going to go into the hollow part of my cheek there and dust it on, and then pull it up some and get a little more. Other side. right, and then we're going to take it up around here, forehead. If you have a larger forehead like I do, this will help minimize it a little bit. So you see how that's giving me some color? I'm gonna put a little bit on my chin. And then we can use the smaller end of this brush and do a little bit of nose contouring, and then we'll take the larger end and blend it in. I'm not contouring a lot today. I contour a lot when I use my like date night makeup, but we're not going to do that today. I'm just going to make sure I've got some color on my cheeks. So you can see the contouring is there now. Okay, and then we're going to take a blush brush, big poofy blush brush, and I'm going to go for that peachy look. So I'm going to spread that in the peach, and then we're going to go right on the big part of my cheek there and blend upwards. The apple of your cheek, that's what it's called. Okay. A little nose ring in there. Sorry. Okay. And then I'm going to take my highlighter brush, and this is the one I use, and I'm going to get that color right there and brush that just on the bone of my cheek. Just for a little bit of shimmer into my nose, between my eyebrows, right up on the bow of my lip. I got powder on my upper lip from that piece of cotton I was using to wipe my nose. All right, so a little bit of shimmer there on the nose, here, cheeks. That's it. That's it for color and contouring for this day look. Now we are gonna go back in and line the eyes. Ta-da! Okay, my favorite liner is called Tattoo Liner. Waterproof. It's waterproof eyeliner, stays on. You have to use oil to get it off. Just a warning. Used to be Kat Von D, now they call it KVD. I think she sold her company. So, this is black, and it's got a nice felt tip. What I do with liner is I go from the inside of the eye, and because my eye is hooded, I can't really do a really pretty cat eye, so I'm going to pull that liner up just a little bit so it gives me lift on the end. Let's see, I know it's hard to see. Pull my mirror in closer so you can see what I'm doing. All right. See? And up. Just like that. And that takes some practice. Not gonna lie about that. I've been doing it that way for years. Didn't just happen yesterday. All right, now, last thing, lips. And today, I'm wearing a black pantsuit, so I wanna have a brighter lip. I'm gonna go with the red stain. So this doesn't go anywhere when you put it on. And what I like about this stain versus some others, and I think this is the Stella brand, but it's wiped off because I've used it so much. It doesn't dry your lips out like some other stains do. So first I'm going to line the bow of the lip. And use it as a liner to get the lip shape I want. And this kind of works as a felt tip marker, so like when you move it back and forth, more of the product comes out. So it's just like coloring. You outline and then you fill in. And you outside the line, girls, this is not the time. I'll put that a little more. I let it dry and then I go back in with some more to darken it. Now I'm going to define the bow of my lip. I think that's a really pretty color. I need to stop while I'm ahead. Well, one more. So this is already dry. And that's my look. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope this gives you some tips and tricks to doing a lighter makeup look. And when I do a date night look, I'll video that for you. Y'all have a good day. Be blessed.